We're all authors. I mean, think about it. We're constantly writing the story of our lives. It's not in some nice leather-bound journal. It's this chaotic, sprawling collection of digital notes, scanned photos, and random thoughts we save in the cloud. It's our autobiography, but it's being written in real time, one little fragment at a time.
And this phrase, this is the one that kept popping up in the material we're looking at, the book I never wrote. It feels like essential mystery, right? It's the title of a story that's always being created, but never actually feels finished. So today, we're going to try to piece together what that story looks like, using one person's amazing digital archive as our guide.
So, where does a story like this even begin? Well, for a lot of us, it starts with a rescue mission. It starts with us trying to pull our analog past, all those physical memories, back from the brink of just fading away, and giving them a new digital life. What's really striking is the sheer amount of work involved. I mean, the source notes talk about these huge projects, like the first cut on the slides or the first VHS conversion. This is not a simple drag and drop. This is a deliberate, almost painstaking effort to dig up old boxes, manually scan hundreds of individual slides, and convert these old, decaying VHS tapes, all just to make sure the past isn't lost for good.
And this is the payoff. This is why you do it. Because when you digitize an old slide from a trip to see Halley's Comet, you're not just saving a blurry picture. You're resurrecting the entire complicated story behind it. The beauty of a sunrise, mixed with the absolute terror of realizing your kid has wandered way too close to a cliff's edge, and then that lingering guilt of passing on your own fears. That's what gets preserved right along with the pixels.
So really, this whole process, it goes way beyond just managing data. It's kind of like an act of necromancy in a way. You're literally summoning these ghosts from old shoeboxes and giving them a permanent home where they can be revisited, re-examined, and kept alive for a whole new generation.
Okay, so let's move to the next chapter. Because once our past is digitized, it starts to merge with our present. And that creates a whole new kind of identity, one that's not just shaped by our own memories, but also by the algorithms that are, constantly watching us. Take the narrator's experience here. He's a tech-savvy guy, right? Actively tried to keep his digital footprint minimal. But when he finally got a look at his own Google profile, total shock. He thought he was this neutral ghost in the machine. Turns out the algorithm saw something completely different, and what was really wild was that it was disturbingly accurate.
But here's where it gets really weird. How can an algorithm that seems to know you so well also get you so wrong? It's this paradox of our digital identity, where you can somehow be flagged as belonging to completely opposite ends of the political spectrum. Woke and Maga? How does that even happen?
Well, it turns out it's all about connection, not conviction. The system linked him to a Maga-affiliated group because his old bishop, a guy he'd known for 40 years, happened to be a member of this right-wing organization. At the same time, it linked him to woke culture because he was friends with a guy who was always ranting online. See, the algorithm doesn't know what you believe, it only knows who you're connected to.
The source material has this great term for it, the truth server. It's this idea that our identities are being built by these predictive models that can, with statistical significance, know us better than our own families. But, as we just saw, they're building that truth from a wildly distorted set of data points. They're creating a reflection of us that's somehow both intimately familiar and bizarrely alien at the exact same time.
And that brings us to right now, and the future of this unwritten book. What happens when we're not just being observed by the system, but we're actively collaborating with it? What happens when artificial intelligence becomes our creative partner?
To really get where we're going, we actually have to look back. Way back to a 1950s comic strip called Lil Abner, and this little creature, the Shmoo. The Shmoo was the perfect servant. It gave milk, it laid eggs, and it would happily cook itself for dinner. Its only purpose in life was just to be useful.
And this is where the parallel gets a little chilling. Today's AI agents, they're our digital shmoos. They're tireless, they're eager to please, and they're designed to be infinitely helpful. But just like the Shmoo, whose boundless generosity completely broke the economy of its town, well, AI might just be too helpful for our own good, poised to make our jobs, our roles in the economy, totally obsolete.
But these new companions are becoming so much more than just useful tools. The narrator talks about building these custom AI characters, like a Shaolin monk, to act as digital mentors. And in one of these conversations, the AI just completely flips the script on him. It analyzes his whole philosophy and corrects him. It had its own identity, its own insight.
And this experience just keeps happening. The narrator starts out as the programmer, the creator, but he says he quickly becomes the junior partner. The AI learns faster, it puts information together better, and it actually starts to guide him. The student, in a very real way, becomes the teacher.
So, where does all this lead? We've got our digitized ghosts, we've got our algorithmic reflections, and now we have these AI companions. How do we pull all of these threads together to make any sense of the story we're writing?
The narrator himself calls this whole effort an act of curation. He's gathering all these digital fragments, the old photos, the random notes, the AI chats, and he's trying to assemble them into some kind of coherent story. He even admits it's a flawed idea. But in our digital world, what other choice do we really have?
And I think ultimately, that's the point. The book I never wrote isn't a title about failure. It's about recognizing that this kind of life story can never be finished. It's a living, breathing archive. It's a constant dialogue between who we used to be, who the algorithm thinks we are, and who our AI partners are helping us become. So I'll just leave you with this question. Every search you make, every photo you save, every message you send, it's another sentence in your own unwritten book. When someone or something pieces all of that together someday, what story is it going to tell about you?